The stock charge pipe on the BMW N54 engine has a weak point, and it's been known to blow apart even under factory boost levels. So if you're modifying your car, tuning it with JB4 or MHD, you definitely want to think about replacing your stock charge pipe with an aluminum one. There are a couple of options. Let me break them down for you. Okay, here are your two basic choices. If you want to stick with your stock diverter valves, then you go with this style pipe. That's where the stock diverter valves would go. It comes with these silicone tubes that would fit on here, and then your diverter valves go in there. And of course that comes with this piece to replace what's there on stock. That's pretty simple and straightforward. I got this from BMS Motorsports, I believe, and you know, it was like $60 to $80, something like that. This one was also $60 to $80. This one is for a blow-off valve. You see, it doesn't have the bungs for the diverter valves. It just has this opening for a Tial style blow-off valve. Now, this is an aftermarket one. The authentic Tial valves cost about $270 or something like that. You will see on eBay some ones that look like they are Tial blow-off valves. They have, you know, Tial printed on them, but those are counterfeits. They aren't the real ones. I like this. This is at least honest. It's not trying to be, it's not trying to claim it's a Tial blow-off valve. There's no writing on it, but I've heard that these aftermarket ones work just fine, and I really don't care all that much. So yeah, these are the two options, and the basic difference is this is a more stealth setup. You know, if you keep your stock diverter valves, you're really not going to hear it when they open and close. This is venting to atmosphere. This one's going to cause that sound, you know, when you let off the throttle, which is fun. If you're wondering what this is, you're not going to use this, but this comes with the Tial blow-off valve normally if you want to weld that onto some kind of custom piping that you have. So you're not going to use that. This one came with an extra spring. I believe this one already has a spring installed in there. I guess it's for different boost levels and stuff. So yeah, that's what that is. And I actually ended up buying another spring as well. People were recommending you buy the 11-pound spring. I threw this in with the box in here, and now I'm unsure which one came with what. I'm gonna say though, I'm gonna say I think this is the one that I bought off eBay that's supposed to be the 11-pound one, because everything here was wrapped in bubble wrap, I seem to recall. So I'm gonna say that's the one that came with everything. And it might have been an 11-pound spring already, because they pretty much look identical and they feel identical. This one's maybe a little bit longer, but it's really hard to say. So that's that. Now, one thing that didn't come with this kit is this. This is a BMS, and I bought this vacuum hose. This right here is a BMS Motorsports item. And the reason you want this is this goes in where your evap valve is. You know, your evap valve fits into the throttle body. So you take that out and you put this in line with that. And what this does is it gives you a bigger reference valve for your vacuum, a bigger vacuum reference, because the stock valves, the stock diverter valves actually run on, I think, an 1/8 inch, something like that, vacuum line. This is larger for a 1/4 inch. It needs that greater vacuum in order to function properly. So what people normally do is they drill and tap a hole into their intake manifold and just thread in a bung like the kind you would get at Home Depot or something. But this is a little bit less destructive, and I don't know, it costs 60 bucks or 70 bucks, something like that. And I'll put it all in the description. That's what I'm going to use. So you have two options. You can go either way. And I think first, for now, for the purposes of this video, I'm going to install this sucker because I think it's going to be fun. I don't know that I'm going to run this all the time, because this sort of thing is not exactly my taste. I kind of prefer a stealth build. That's just what I prefer. So the problem with this is that your stock diverter valves, they actually will leak boost under higher boost levels. So there is an aftermarket solution for that made by TurboSmart. I think it's TurboSmart Compact or something like that. I bought some used ones off of Facebook Marketplace. They aren't here yet. So I will probably end up converting to that eventually. But for the purposes of this video, we'll install this because I know this is what you guys are going to want. All right, so I took this thing apart just to take a look at what the spring looks like that it's installed with, and it's definitely way flimsier than this one. This is the much stronger spring for sure. And this is also, I think this is the 11-pound one that I bought, and I think I think it's pretty much the same thing. I mean, they feel very, very similar, I guess. There's really no way that I can compare, but feeling wise, they definitely feel very similar. So yeah, it should be fine. This one is slightly taller. I don't think it'll matter. It's basically the same thing. I'll go with this one. I'm going to switch it over. Everybody recommends to switch this one. And incidentally, the real Tial springs are color coded for the different weights and whatnot. And I believe when you have a real Tial valve, it's a little deeper on the inside and all that stuff. So for whatever that's worth, but I think this will be fine. It'll work out. This is going to be challenging, I think, to get back together, so I'll work on that. Well, this should be a lot easier to install now that we got the DCIs in. So we're going to get this off, of course, T20s to get this off the front. I think we only need to get off the one side. Oh, let me get some gloves. We are going to have to block off these inlets. We're going to have to get them completely out. Okay, yeah, so turning it, I never remember which way, so turning it that way is the sort of unlock. Oh, you know what? I think I am gonna need to get other stuff out in order to install that vacuum reference, unfortunately. That sucks. Okay, those come all the way off. These are going to come all the way off because we are removing them. We're gonna plug them. The kit does not come with, I should mention that, the kit that I bought does not come with plug-off ports, valves, caps, but they did come with the silicone inlets that I am going to eventually install. That's why I didn't buy them separately. So you need to make sure, you need to look at the picture when you're buying it on eBay, and you need to, or wherever you're buying it, and you need to make sure it comes with those ports that you're going to put on here to block those off. Because if not, you got to buy them. I think they're like $10 extra, especially if you're doing it on eBay. I'm going to try to do this without removing this guy. Love having a little flex thing here. All right, this vacuum reference line, we are going to end up pulling it out, and we got to cap that. And it does not, this thing doesn't come with a cap off. I think it doesn't. Am I right? Oh, no, it does. Look at that. Look at that. It does come with a little vacuum cap right there. That's meant for capping off the port on your intake manifold. That's really cool. And then it comes with these bungs right here, which we're going to use one of those, and then we're going to use this port on the other side. So that's cool. That's really cool. Yeah, we should be able to do that. I will do my best to get some camera views. I might end up having to remove this just so you guys can get a better camera view, but for now, what I'm going to do is remove this tube. And again, I believe we turn it this way. Oh wait, I think we were already loose from before. So yeah, again, you turn it, I don't know, you'll figure it out. Turn the little gray thing to lock it. All right, let me show you what those little cap off ports look like. So this is what they look like. Just these little rubber plugs right here. So slip those over. Ordinarily, I would say you don't need anything. You don't need like a clamp or anything because there's no pressure on this side. This is before the turbochargers. However, on this side, there is the blow-by system, the PCV system. So on that side, sometime, there is blow-by gases that are going into that intake too. I don't think that it still will be necessary to use clamps, but it does come with clamps, and we might as well just install them. You never know. You don't want that thing to go flying and then you lose it. So I will install those really quickly. Where did my screwdriver? Why don't we go this way? It's a 7 mil. Just be real careful when you're using an impact on something on a spring clamp like this, or a worm clamp. Especially because it's plastic. Very gingerly, and we'll do it like that. It's actually an awfully big clamp. Not happy. It doesn't look that great, but we can change it later. Okay, good enough. So here we go. The O-ring goes here, and you can see that it goes around the rim here, but it does not want to stay. So it's super tricky. I can tell this is going to be really fiddly. Okay, maybe the easier way is to put the O-ring in here like that. Oh, maybe that is easier. Place this on. Yeah, it's definitely easier. Okay, so that's essentially how I'm going to do it, sort of upside down. You get it. You get the point. I think this is going to take me a little bit of practice. I can see people having problems with this O-ring. I can see people pinching it in just such the wrong way and having leaks, having boost leaks. So yeah, I'm definitely going to need to fiddle with this off camera and all that stuff, but you can feel when it slides in and it's nice and it's even, and you can feel when you didn't quite get it. So just make sure that you're sure, and then get the clamp around and get it all done. And the clamp definitely helps to take the actual nut off of it so that the clamp is super loose. Let's get the old charge pipe out now. This is, the clamp down here is a 7 mil. It's super loose, make it easy on yourself. Okay, that will come out. T30 on this bracket bolt here. And then we can lift this clamp up here. It's a little spring. We're actually gonna take it all the way off because we're gonna reuse it on our new charge pipe. And then we have a sensor that's back here, which it might be just easier for you guys to visually see it once I pull this off. Let me grab that rubber off. And maybe you guys can see it down there. Sort of, kind of. Can we see it at all down there? Maybe a little bit. You just kind of reach down and lift the little thing and it comes right out. And of course I just broke mine, but who cares? Thing's annoying. We're gonna swap over this air temperature sensor. I think it's a combination air temperature and I think it's just air temperature, to be honest with you. And then I think the map sensor is up on the top of the intake manifold there. So I'm not sure what those were supposed to be. I had one T25 and one T20, but either way, we are pulling this guy out. That's it. It's just got a little O-ring right there, and we're gonna swap it over. And then we also need this O-ring in here. Boom. That O-ring will go here. Should you get a new O-ring? I don't know. Depends on if this one seals well or not. My O-ring here looks fine. Like it's not overly squashed or anything like that. I think it will be fine. But if we have problems, we'll change it. Man, I wish this was a little longer. I would turn the sensor up. I don't know why they didn't do that. All right, sensor is swapped over. Here's our clip. It's gonna go right there. These are supposed to be a quick install kind of clip. You shouldn't need to pull it up in order to install it. You can if you want to. So yeah, we should be good to go. I've got this clamp on here really loose, and I have this clocked in the position that I think it should be in. So I'm also going to put this clamp on here like that. Then I'll kind of fit the thing in place. But first, before I do that, I'm going to install that new vacuum line thingy that we need to do. So I installed one bung right here, and then I installed this, and I chose to use some Permatex thread sealant, liquid thread sealant, in lieu of Teflon tape, just because I have it. So this is essentially going to go on right down here on the side of the throttle body, and then the thing that's plugged into that is gonna slip onto this. All right, so this is the fitting that I'm talking about here. Side of the throttle body, this guy here. This is the vacuum line for the old diverter valves, which I'm gonna try to pull off. Did I get it off without breaking? I did not, which means I'm gonna cut it. So here, we just gotta squeeze this and take it off. There's no way I can do it while holding the camera, but that's all I'm gonna do is squeeze it, pull it off. Okay, I did manage to slip it off, and I also cut off the vacuum hose, the excess vacuum hose that was left on there, and this is the little plug that they give you, and I'm slipping that on the little port, so now you see it's capped off. They also give you a zip tie. I believe that zip tie is for the vacuum cap, because remember, this is a boosted engine. There's gonna be pressure in this intake manifold, and it could pop that thing right off, so you wanna put that zip tie on there. Everyone owns a zip tie flush cutter, right? Right? So that you don't slice your hand on zip ties. Okay, so this guy is off, and we're just gonna slip this on right there, and then we'll slip this one onto the end of it, like that, like that. So that's essentially what we need to do. And then there's just a little locking tab thing that I'm gonna slip in the slot to prevent that thing from popping off. Okay, it was pretty difficult to get that little locking clip snapped on. I had to use a little punch with a hammer to kind of tap it on because, I don't know, didn't have the hand strength tonight or something. So, boom, this is locked in. That's good. So now we have our vacuum line for the blow-off valve, the correct size vacuum line for it. Now we're good to go. All right, to make life easier on myself while I'm clocking these things, I'm going to put a very, very light amount of silicone paste right on the tip right here. Just the tip. And when you put that on there, it'll slide super easy. You don't want to put too much silicone. Silicone can be harmful for oxygen sensors, so don't put like a ton that's going to go everywhere. The part that I put is never going to make it to the intake track because it's on here. It's not a big glob inside and all that stuff. Put a little bit of lube on that O-ring as well. You never know. Spacing could be a little different. Get our clamps on. And I think it's probably better to put this in place first because it just looks like it'll be a little bit easier. All right. Okay. Guys, I was having so much trouble slipping that eBay one on there. Of course, the one I got from Burger Motorsports, it slipped right on first time. I guess it's true. You get what you pay for. Although they were both the same price, technically. I figured they were all made in the same factory, really, but I guess not. This one is just a much better fitment. So either I will try to get the other one running because I did install this vacuum thing and all that, and I don't want to take it off right now. So I will try my best to try to fit the other one on if I can. Try a little bit longer, but if it ain't gonna work, it ain't gonna work. I'll send it back to eBay. I'll run with this one for right now. As much as I want to hear the little whoosh sound and all that, just at least to hear it and try it, I might have to run with this. And here's the difference between the eBay one and the BMS one. You see the BMS one is aluminum on the inside. This one, they powder coated the whole inside. That's probably where my difficulty is. You can see that they screwed the bungs for the methanol injection in. They powder coated over that. This one, they removed it before they did the powder coating and they chased the threads. It's like, you know, it's just faster for them to do it this way. And I think that's where all my problems are. This must just be a little bit, you know, there must be too much in here, too much whatever. And it's very difficult to slip past this powder coating and stuff. I think that's where my issues are. I suppose I could kind of grind all of this off, but I don't want to modify the part and screw it up for my eBay return. So I will try one more time to see if I can slip this on. If not, screw it. So guys, I lost some footage, so I'm gonna have to redo it. So this, believe it or not, this is not the one that you've been watching me install this whole time. I did go ahead and I ground the inside of that one off with my with a wire wheel on my die grinder. I ground it off. I ground it until it was back to metal, and then I tried to install it again and just had no luck. It was just a pain in the butt. So I decided to return that one to eBay, which I did. Return it. Seller gave me my money back, and at that same time, I was looking around on eBay and I saw pictures of one that had no powder coating on the inside surface here. So I bought it again for $60, and that's this one. It showed up, and of course, powder coated on the inside. So I immediately messaged the seller and he just gave me my money back. Didn't even make me return this one. So he knew, you know, these sellers are just like, they're playing the numbers game, I guess. He just wanted to refund me my money so that I didn't leave a negative comment on him or something like that. I don't know. But I have this one and it's useless because I'm not going to even bother to try to install it. But that's essentially what happened. And I decided to actually run with that Burger Motorsports one. It's been working out just fine for me. I removed the vacuum adapter thing that we did and just went back to all the original stock stuff. I've still got the stock diverter valves, and I just have the BMS aftermarket charge pipe just for reliability reasons. And I mean, it's been so long that I've even gone back to using the stock intake instead of the DCIs, which is, you know, at the end of my DCI install video, you saw that just because I filmed a different wrap up for that video and I had already gone back to this thing. So that's why that is. And you know what, honestly, this is fine for me. I prefer to have a more stealth build anyway. I don't really want a loud blow off valve on my car. So that's just my personality. It's just how it is. So I'm fine with this, but by all means, do whatever option you want to do. So yeah, the lesson here is don't buy these crappy eBay parts. They look like they're the same, but they're definitely not the same. Buy from a reputable manufacturer. And I'm happy to make these mistakes for you and show you what not to do so that you don't have to learn the hard way like I did. So I'm all right with it. You know, I learned something. Hope you did too. If you enjoyed the video, give me a thumbs up. Subscribe if you want to see more. I'm the 50s Kid. Thanks a lot for watching.